everybody. Welcome to the 3 consequences of ignoring our intuition. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how these consequences are actually related to disempowering patterns that keep you inches from accessing what you deeply desire. And by the way, if you're feeling discouraged, stuck, or overwhelmed, that may be why. Okay, these are the reasons why I feel that finding your life purpose is vital. I'd like to give you an idea of the 3 behaviors and beliefs that result in keeping us from living the life we're born to live. Now, the first consequence of ignoring your intuition is you're going to try to fill that emptiness with busyness. Hello, I've done that. When we feel empty, we eat, shop, or drink too much. The pain of being empty shows up as busy work. We actually fill ourselves with classes and shortcuts, thinking that some expert is going to have the solution when the answer is actually already inside of you. It's right here, right there. Now, another thing to know is that this busyness actually can show up with different symptoms with the same outcome. It's almost polar opposites in some ways. What do I mean? Well, you're either a chronic list builder, like I am, and never really get to the end of the list because you just keep adding to it, and you're piling on and piling on. Or what you do get things done effortlessly, actually, but you're succeeding at something you really don't care about. Or worse. Yeah, it actually can get worse. You live with this vague sense that you should be doing something else right now, anything, but you have no idea what that is, or actually what it would look like. Let's look at the second consequence of not living your life purpose. And don't worry, stay with me, there's more. Okay, drum roll. You spend time second-guessing every choice you make. And by the way, this is very, very common. A lot of my clients say this to me. See, when you don't know how to rely on your intuition, you question everything in your life. And why shouldn't you, actually? It's not your problem. In other words, you're not doing anything wrong. You've been trained to trust only what others approve of. So you're actually not making a choice. You're secretly trying to think up every possible reaction to your choice. By the time those wheels have finished spinning, you can't even make a choice. Think about this. That's actually a form of self-bullying. We shut ourselves down for fear of what others may think of us. Now, by the way, if you're like me and you've taken any sort of class on intuitive development, but still feel that perhaps something hasn't stuck. I had a writing teacher who used to say to me, make your content sticky, Tori. And I'm like, what does sticky mean? That just sounds terrible. And she said it means that people will remember it. See, that's because you can't learn this work from the habit of taking someone else's pulse to see if you're alive. Think about that. Now, years ago, I had a very famous actor look at me, and he wasn't that famous then. He said, do you really believe this bleep that you do? And I'm like, no, I don't. It actually surprised us both in that moment. He was silenced, but then I came back with, I know it. And then it hit me. What I'm talking about is actually living in the energy of knowing versus believing. And by the way, all beliefs are fear-based. So why would you want to change a belief, right? Think about that. If it's true, you're only changing a relationship to the fear. See, what I'm saying is that when you know something, and by the way, right now, I'm going to ask you to center yourself with me, and I want you to go inside. Do you have a knowing right now that in all of this activity I'm doing, that what I'm saying to you is true? Is there a rattling inside of you that you know something I've said is true, but actually it may be that it requires thinking? Then don't. In this moment, I want you to just go into your body and trust that what I'm saying to you is real. This isn't about changing beliefs right now. I want you to live in your knowing. Don't try to figure it out. I want you to breathe. And I want you to pause and be with me. Okay? In a moment, we're going to look at the third consequence. But before we get to that third consequence, what I'd like to say to you is, the work I teach is really about going into your body and trusting your knowing. Now, it's not something that's kind of like, I'm not too esoteric. Sorry for those who are hoping I was. I'm more being with you present in the moment. And what I want you to get is that there is something in you that, and that's, by the way, I'm going to say this. This is why you're listening to me right now. Because there's something in you. You know there's something you're meant to do. You came here to do. And you're on the verge of it. And by the way, do you have a sense that there's, I want you to go inside. Don't listen to my words. Listen with your body. Do you have a sense that there's one thing you're missing? And if you actually got that one thing, everything would change? Okay. Now, in this state, let's look at the third consequence. Most people actually ignore their calling and never live their dreams. Pause for a moment. Do you have a knowing in yourself that if things don't change, you absolutely know you may never live that great life that you came here to live? And by the way, I'm getting truth bumps as I say this to all of you. That's the third consequence of ignoring our intuition. Breathe. Stay with me here for a moment. Just stay with me. I'm not going to say anything, but just be with you for a moment. As we're standing here together, I want you to get a sense that the chakra is actually a living evolutionary energy. Most people think it's some ancient Indian metaphysical wisdom that doesn't even relate to us. I'm going to tell you that after my near-death experience, I learned that the chakra is the most accessible tool we have. And you see, the 7 chakra, and the chakra wisdom cards too, it's housed inside of all of us. And by the way, they are a direct path to our life purpose. So here's the deal. I'd like you to think of your chakra as magical wands, right? They're the quickest way to tap into your soulful truth, your intention, and move away from painful behaviors forever. And you know, I want to say this. I'm going to pause right a second. I'm going to say this. The painful behaviors I'm referring to, you will have them again, but here's the difference. When they come up, they're like clouds that pass. They're not things that are going to stick to you anymore. You're going to have tools. That's what you want, right? You want tools that you'll be able to just move through them. In my nearly 30-year journey with the chakra wisdom cards and fables, I discovered that there's a map to my purpose, and there's actually a map within your chakra too. See, this intuitive map is actually what completely changed my life. Now, to discover how to really trust your intuition, you must practice it. Ultimately, and by the way, before we go on, I just want to say this. You have to practice it, but how can you practice what you haven't been taught really, right? We're not taught in school. Oh, okay, intuition class right here. Come on down. We're not taught that. So the reality is, how are you supposed to know it? But you see, I really want to give you the chakra tools that are actually going to stay with you forever and allow you to live in that place of unparalleled safety within you. So, in my webinar that's coming up, powerful stuff. I'm not kidding when I say this. It's free, right? I'm going to go over the key components to finding your path. And by the way, the webinar is coming soon, but the title of it is The 3 Secrets to Finding Your Hidden Life Purpose. And by the way, in it, you're going to see where you're going and what's ahead of you. Before I go on and describe that, I want to say one quick thing to you, and that is that what I am going to do in the webinar is give you the 3 components to all of the work that I do. And I really don't want you to miss this one because it's going to outline, in the webinar, I'm going to outline vital tools that are going to set you on a path that is really going to be eye-opening to say the least. In the meantime, I'd love for you to comment below on this video, and I'd love to hear what you have to say and get a chance to know you better. That's the point. I really love being in touch with people that do this work. Let me know your #1 challenge when it comes to trusting your intuition, and I look forward to connecting with you again really soon. Thank you, everyone.